Netflix has recently purchased the rights to Warner Brothers, or has it? Looks like Paramount has stepped in and made a hostile bid toward the ownership of Warner Brothers with a higher per share offer than Netflix had originally offered. It's being looked at as a hostile bid, so there's now a bidding war between Netflix and Paramount for the right of Warner Brothers and the IP that is included with that. Now, why am I talking about it? Well, this could mean, depending on which way this goes, we could see the restoration of the Snyderverse. Now, do I actually believe that that's going to happen? No, I really don't. I've talked about this before on my one of my latest videos. So many things have to happen for the Snyderverse to come back to fruition, right? We've got to get the actors, their schedules, their lives, their projects all to align so that they can come together to create this conclusion or continuance of a project that's been dead for a long time. Now, do I wish this would happen? Sure, it'd be a lot of fun. I think Netflix would be the company to do it because they've revived projects before and they've got their own, of course, sort of fingers in their different pies. But I just don't see it happening. Could they make it into like a mini series or like a spin-off? Yes, of course. But I do feel like the Snyderverse is not coming back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't think the Snyderverse is coming back. And there are so many people arguing till they're blue in the face that it's going to. I don't think it's going to happen. I've seen so many articles about, or clickbait articles really, and that's exactly what they are, about Zack Snyder posting pictures of Superman or Batman or this and that. And it's like, it doesn't mean anything. He's posting things because he can. It doesn't mean that it's coming back. Netflix has canceled his latest projects. I don't think that the Netflix organization, company, whatever, is going to really care that much about bringing back something that they're probably never going to be able to see come to reality. Now, that said, this whole idea of Paramount coming into the picture, really, really exciting for me because I think Paramount and Warner Brothers are kind of like, those are the two, right? Those are the two that I've imagined. I mean, MGM, of course, can be thrown in there as well. But, like, when I think of great movies, I think of the Paramount logo, Indiana Jones. I think of Warner Brothers, Superman, and everything in between. Like, I think that those are two companies that make sense that should be together. I'm not sure where Netflix comes into play. Now, of course, Netflix is the biggest, basically streaming, well, one of the biggest streaming platforms in the world at the moment. Of course, Paramount has their Paramount Plus and everything. But I think, yeah, I think of great movies. I think of Paramount and Warner Brothers. I think that team makes sense more so than the Netflix. What do you think? What do you think? Who do you think should acquire Warner Brothers? Comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. What are your thoughts on the Snyderverse being restored? Do you think it's realistic? Do you think it's a fool's errand? What do you think? I'd love to know more. Here's what I think, depending on who wins. So I think if Netflix wins, I see a lot of the old DC films coming back into the limelight, getting a little bit more of a dark take, and like the old DC, right? Getting that. I mean, we'll see the Snyderverse on Netflix. I don't think necessarily that means we're going to see anything new, but I do think that they're going to be more geared toward bringing that back. Whereas something like Paramount, I don't know why I see Paramount as more of a light take. I see, sort of spin-offs, new things, maybe prequels, lighthearted sort of family shows coming to fruition. And I think that is not necessarily a bad thing, especially if we're talking about, Superman 2025, directed by James Gunn, starring David Corenswet. I think that is the smart take. I think moving more toward that family take, that lighthearted nature of DC is much more of a, well, I don't know if it's a smart take, but I do think that it is much more in line with what we're seeing from James Gunn at the moment, and that's what the universe is that we've built. Now, of course, the Batman, that sort of with Robert Pattinson, I think that that's obviously much more dark than Superman 2025 was, but I do think that right now, what we're looking at is seeing more lighthearted, and I think that Paramount is probably the company to do that. What do you think? I think no matter what happens, I think this could be a brand new start for DC, depending on who gets Warner Brothers and who gets the rights to that. But I think depending on who it is, Netflix or Paramount, that's going to dictate the direction that we see it go in. Is it going to be, the old school dark take, or is it going to be more family friendly moving forward? I'd love to know what your preference is. Mine, I don't know. I don't know what I think. I feel like I'm gonna be honest with you. If I talk about Marvel, I think everything after Endgame has been kind of like so-so. Um, I, I mean, I don't know. I, I didn't love any of the shows that were done after Marvel, and I get it. That's a different IP, but like I think that kind of stuff can sometimes work. I think it kind of sometimes doesn't. I think a lot of the Star Wars stuff has been doing great, but again, there's some things in there that I didn't love. I didn't love Boba Fett. I thought that the only good episodes in Boba Fett were the ones that featured Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian. Um, that said, I think Marvel is a much stronger entity than DC in terms of storytelling and how they've moved forward. Um, I I don't know. I think potentially different spin-offs for DC would work better than they did, say, for Marvel. For example, look, I love the original X-Men cartoon back when I was a kid on Fox Kids, but I think the DC, like the Teen Titans, the Young Justice, and all that, I think those did really well. I think those were great. And I think that DC just work like the DC characters make that work a little bit more so than Marvel. Like I don't love the Marvel stuff. So I think in that sense, I would prefer to go with Paramount because I think that more could be done with the DC properties there rather than us looking at Netflix because maybe they're going to revive the Snyderverse. They're not. They're not. Snyderverse ain't coming back. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah. Anyway, I would love to know your 2 cents about it. It's really, really interesting, everything that's happened. So, look, let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. And as always, if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notifications bell, ding, ding. If you are so inclined to keep my channel going, please become a member. You get access to some of the things that I don't put up to the public, like unseen reviews, unseen backstage, behind the scenes, bloopers and all that good stuff. You can find me on Instagram. I'm back as Melbourne Superman. I've got some suit reviews coming up, which I'm really excited about. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.